Sacre bleu! Welcome to the first episode of Quarantine Bakery, baby. Yep, it's gotten to the point where this channel is becoming a cooking channel. So, buckle up! It has been long established on this channel that I am a baking extraordinaire. From my incredible lemon cake.
What are you doing? Aidan!
To the most delicious smoothies.
It looks like he's gonna cry.
That's horrific.
I have well established myself in the genre of YouTube cookery, but I thought I'd just extend my prowess today with a pumpkin pie. I'm very aware that I might as well just burn myself at the stake for making pumpkin pie, not in autumn. But we had some left over from last Thanksgiving time, and it just needs to get rid of it, really. It just needs to go. Pumpkin pie is a very American delicacy. It's actually really hard to find canned pumpkin in the UK. But if any of my UK viewers find this canned pumpkin in stores, I endeavour you to try it, because it's one of the things that England is really missing out on, in my opinion. But before we even get started on the whole pumpkin-y bit, we have to make our own crust. We can get pre-made crusts, but I haven't done that. So we're making our own. Pie crust is notoriously difficult to get right, but if anybody could do it, I think I can. We are gonna need to start off 315 grams of all-purpose, or plain if you're English, flour, 2 teaspoons of sugar, teaspoon of salt, and we need to mix those together till they're nicely combined. Then you need to add the butter, but there's emphasis on the butter being cold. This seems rather excessive. I don't know how the temperature of the butter can really make that big of a difference in the grand scheme of things, but apparently it melts in the oven and creates pockets of air to make a nice fluffy, flaky dough. So just gonna do that. All right, that is certifiably cold. Can't get it out. There you go. Oh, lovely. Got flour everywhere. All right, so once you've added the butter, you need to combine it with the flour and sugar and everything. You can use a fork, you can even use a pastry cutter, whatever that is. I'm just gonna use my bare hands. You're gonna need a half a cup of ice cold water. I have some cold water with ice in it to really do the whole ice cold thing. So we're just gonna add a little bit at a time. All right, so now it's starting to come together. Put out a lightly floured surface. Grab the dough and you just smack it down, you know. Just woo! Alright, so we need to combine this and pack it nicely into a ball. See, that's not looking too shabby. Hey! Covered in flour! So what you're actually supposed to do is combine it into one ball, two balls. All right, we have 2 discs. So now we need to wrap these up in cling film, stick them in the fridge for an hour, and then we can bake them. Alright, we have our 2 discs. We're gonna bang them into the fridge for 1 hour. Hey Google, set a timer for 1 hour.
Sure, 1 hour, starting now.
Hey Google, thanks.
That makes me so happy. You're most welcome.
That makes me so happy. Right, so dough's sorted with. Now to get onto the juicy bit. What it's called. Pumpkin pie bit. The pumpkin pie bit. Yeah, the bit where the pumpkin. It doesn't have any method, so I just assume you just bung it all into a bowl and hope for the best. Sorry if the audio cut out at any point. I don't know when that happened. All right, we need 2 regular sized eggs. This is a normal sized egg, and this is just like a gigantic, like ostrich egg that we just happen to have that's about twice the size of every other egg known to man. Boom. That is a monstrous egg. Jeez. Oh yeah. Oh, I got egg in there. A shell even. Of course I got egg in there, it's an egg. Got egg on my hands. All right, then you need a fork to beat up the eggs. I mean, you can use your fist if you really beat them up. You know, fork is the typical option. All right, add your pumpkin. Oh God, that's looking really appetizing. 170 grams of sugar. This looks like vomit. I think if I did a close-up B-roll on that, I would get demonetized. 107, oh, flour. Why did I use so much flour? Whoa. Half a teaspoon of salt. That's pretty much a teaspoon. Half a teaspoon. It's fine. 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Now, cinnamon's one of those things that it just makes everything taste better. So I think 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, you could take some creative liberty with that, I think. So I'm probably gonna use like 5, maybe 10 teaspoons of cinnamon. You know, I think the whole teaspoon thing is underrated, overrated, I should say. So we're just gonna sort of, that should be good. That's a nice Mount Everest of cinnamon in there. Oh, that's a lot of cinnamon. You can sort of add whatever spices you like to this. It's sort of to taste. The recipe calls for cinnamon and cloves. It also calls for ginger, but I'm not a big ginger kind of guy, so I'm just gonna gloss over that. 1/4 teaspoon of cloves. Now, cloves, in my understanding, are quite strong. Whoa! Whoa! Yeah, I think 1/4 teaspoon is pretty good at that. Yep, that should be plenty. Yeah, cloves. What's not to love? Oh, I can still smell the cloves. It's up my nose. The main thing that makes this whole thing work is your condensed milk. I have no idea how they condense milk. The recipe calls for 285 grams. And this can is 397. So what I'm gonna do with the additional 100 odd grams of condensed milk, I have no idea. Can you drink it straight? Probably not. Should I? Probably not. Will I? Maybe. All right, make sure to lose the lid in the condensed milk can as you go. Hello? What is that consistency? What is this thing? I can't decide if that's sort of passable or really bad. Our pumpkin mix is good to go. Now all we need to do is wait for the crust to be done, which, hey Google, how long left on the timer?
T-minus 43 minutes and 26 seconds.
T-minus? It's not a rocket. Okay, so we got another 45 minutes to wait. I'll see you then. All right, so I've taken the pie dough out of the fridge slightly prematurely, but I think it's been about an hour. Here it is. Well, there's an hour, so it's pretty close. Roll out the dough. Okay, get some flour on that puppy. Oh, that's lovely, that is. Put the crust into the pan. This is gonna blow your mind. I've never heard of this before in my life. We have to put pie weights down, okay? We put parchment paper down, and then we have to weigh down the crust with weights while it cooks in the oven. What? I've pretty well lined that. There's a bit extra that I'm just gonna chop off with scissors, I guess. What else are you supposed to use? How did Poppy's hair get on it? That is absurd. Now, what you're supposed to do with the extra dough, I have no idea. I assume you just... We have here a perfectly lined... No! I'm not gonna pick it up anymore. A perfectly lined thing, you'll just have to believe me. Before we add the pumpkinness, we have to bake this so it gets somewhat crust-like. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do pie weights This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life. If I dunk some of this in here, some raw crust with some raw pumpkin. Hey, don't knock it till you try it. This recipe is insinuating that I, an average person, happens to have pie weight hanging around my kitchen. We're gonna have to use dried beans or rice.
Okay.
How much? I'm so confused. Okay, we're gonna put this rice in. That's ridiculous. We're making a rice pie. So we cook this in the oven at 200 degrees Celsius for 15 minutes with the weights and then 15 minutes without the weights. Let's see how this goes. Hey Google, set a timer for 15 minutes. I'll catch up with you in about 15 minutes. I'll just be sitting here eating raw pie dough. See you later. Hey Google, stop. Told you I would be. All right, so I skipped out the interim period where I took out all the rice again and baked it normally. This crust is now completely ready to go. So let's take it out and see how crispy fresh it looks. Crust's done. All we gotta do now is add the filling. So the crust was in the oven at 200 degrees Celsius. I've just stepped it down to 180, which is the temperature needed to actually cook the pie. It needs to be in for about 40 minutes, 40 to 50. It takes a long time because there's hefty amount of moisture in there. I guess we just pour it in. That is quite astonishing. That never happens in bakery. I actually made exactly the right amount of filling for my pie. There's nothing left in there. Hey Google, start a timer for 40 minutes and we'll see how things go. Whoa, I'm gonna open it and then put it in, how about? I'll cut to myself standing here again in 40 minutes. Oh, pumpkin pie's ready! All right, 40 minutes is up. Let's see how she's looking. If all has gone well, a skewer through the middle of that should come out clean. A fork is my skewer. That's clean to me. That's done. We, ladies and gentlemen, have ourselves a pumpkin pie. It's been a long journey. I've been doing this for the last, 3.5 hours. Without further ado, let's take some B-roll and cut into this puppy. Yeah, it's not going to win any aesthetic beauty prizes anytime soon, but I bet it's going to taste damn good, son. Now I should probably be leaving this to cool before I dive into it, because it's hot and it's still kind of mushy, but it'll solidify as it cools. Oh yeah! And now to try my searing hot and still slightly mushy because it hasn't cooled yet, piece of pumpkin pie. How's the crust? Does it hold up? That is the question. That's really hot. That turned out really good. I'm just gonna try just straight crust, see how that is. Yeah, that right there, that's pumpkin pie. And the cinnamon levels, perfect. We kind of did it to him today. If you've never had pumpkin pie before, then come on, you've got to. Probably not very easy to find tinned pumpkin around the shops at the moment. By autumn time, they might start showing up. And if they do, try it. And even better, this recipe is completely calorie free. There's not a single calorie in any of this. Thank you for watching. If you have any other recipes that you'd like me to try, any other delicacies from around the world, let me know. Please feel free to comment everything that I did wrong in this recipe down below, because I'm sure there were many things. I'm just going to stand here and finish this for a bit, so see you next Sunday.